Hi everyone, my name is Justin Odisho, and in this video I'm going to give you my review of the Canon G7X Mark II after using it for about a year. I purchased this camera in August of last year on Amazon, and I've been using it pretty regularly since on my vlogs, videos, and other random footage. And I'm going to shoot the entire review on this camera except for the shots of the actual camera and B-roll. I'll be using my 70D to shoot those. So what you hear right now is the built-in audio, and what you see is the camera's video mode on auto. If you want to check out the exact specifications and current price, I'll leave a link in the description below where you can check all that information out. But let's get into the review. So let me start by firing off some positives and the reason I got this camera. One, it's a small, handheld, mirrorless camera that you can fit in your pocket that has everything built in, ready to go. You don't need any detachable lenses, and it has a good range of zoom and also a great aperture of f1.8, which means it works great in low light situations. So the overall quality of this camera, I enjoy. You see, as I get closer here, it's really sharp. You can see my stubble, everything like that. You can get pretty close to the lens and still retain a really good amount of sharpness, and it's pretty quick to adjust focus when you move backwards or forward. Right now it's a perfectly clear shot on my face, but if I was to move over and give you my hand, you can see it zooms in, gets crisp, and then if I move it back, it might take a second, but the autofocus I found is generally pretty good. Now you can't get way too close to the camera. There is a limit to how close you can go with it without it getting blurry, but that's never been an issue for me. The more zoomed in you make it, the better depth of field and more shallow sharpness you can get, which I enjoy this camera's quality. Next up, the other great point that I have for this camera is the flip out screen. That was a big purchase point for me because me personally, when I'm vlogging, I can't really tell what I'm looking at unless I have the screen in front of me. So it's great when you're holding it out in front of you to be able to see exactly the framing of your shot and make sure you're talking into the camera, which I think a lot of people who are looking at this camera are looking to get it for vlogging on YouTube. The camera does also have a touch screen and touch focus, which is another great touch if you're just swiping through pictures, deleting, or just navigating through the menu. And you can also turn that feature on and off if you don't want to accidentally touch something. So you've got good capabilities in the menu. Aside from the flip out screen, it's got a lot of other great built-in features, especially if you are planning to vlog with it. It's got a built-in ND filter, it's got Wi-Fi features, a built-in time-lapse mode, so you don't have to worry about buying a time-lapse intervalometer or doing stitching in other weird ways. You can just do it right in the camera. The camera has a host of different options on the mode wheel, like video mode, photo mode, and speaking of photo to video, I think this camera is actually really great for someone who's just trying to take some casual street photography type of shots, especially since this camera can shoot RAW and you can adjust them in Lightroom, Photoshop, whatever your preference is, to get a nice graded series of images. Now, aside from the features in the menu, the actual build quality is nice and solid feeling. It's got a nice grip with an extended little dip for you to hold on to. It's got a smooth or clickable ring wheel to adjust whatever setting you set it to be in the menu. And the zoom and the buttons are all placed pretty nicely. Sometimes I do end up putting my finger over the microphone, which is placed on top, but that's just a bit of user error when I'm not paying attention and I'm holding my finger over the mic. So all those specifications and details aside, the main reason I got this camera and liked it is because I wanted a mirrorless option that I could fit in my pocket all in one for occasions where I didn't want to bring a big DSLR because you can't fit those in your pocket, and I just wanted to do like point and shoot, run and gun style video or photo. So it's great when you find yourself not grabbing your big DSLR and you want to grab something smaller, and it doesn't give you an excuse to just leave your camera at home for the day. Now, some things that are neutral to me about this camera are, one, the battery life, it's pretty good. It could be worse, it could be better. I would recommend getting an extra battery. I found that keeping one battery in this camera, it'll last you about an evening of shooting. But if you wanted to go from sun up to sundown, I definitely recommend you get an extra battery. Another thing that I think could be improved upon, especially compared to some of the newer Sonys that have come out since then, is the frame rate and the slow-mo. This can only shoot up to 60 frames per second, so you can do a little bit of slow motion, but you can't get that super smooth slow motion. And also for those of you who are looking for 4K, this doesn't have 4K, but I'm not really looking for 4K at the moment, and I'm fine with uploading crisp 1080p on YouTube and things like that. Finally, I will say that the built-in audio on this is not the greatest. For me, I'm not that picky. I don't really mind. I'm just trying to get these vlogs, and I believe that the content is better as long as the audio is pretty workable for things like vlogs. But if you listen closely when the camera is silent, you sometimes do hear a bit of noise internally. I'm not sure if that's just my camera. I don't really mind the audio. That's what you're hearing right now. And so keep that in mind if you do need sharp audio and needs to be up to a certain standard. So consider that in your judgment on whether you like this camera or not. But overall, I'm gonna say that I would definitely recommend this camera for anyone looking for a mirrorless, handheld, pocketable solution that's not too expensive. It should all be under $1,000 compared to some DSLR options now with lens combos that could cost you several thousands of dollars. But as always, take your budget, your needs, your features that you want in mind, shop around and decide for yourself. If you guys have any other questions on this lens, I know I didn't go too far into specification, check the links in the description and let me know if I could answer anything from my experience using it. Overall, I like this camera. I'm going to keep using it until I really want to upgrade to something maybe with slower motion or crisper footage. So thank you guys so much for watching. You can follow me on Instagram at JustinODshow if you want to reach out to me. Subscribe to the channel for more, and I'll see you guys next time.